This is my mama's makeup and crochet channel.
Hi, welcome back to my channel. This is my first crocheted shawl tutorial and also the first shawl pattern I wrote. I already made a few designs before. I always crochet a shawl freestyle, but I never wrote down the stitches. But this time I did, and I want to share it with you. I'm calling this Jordana shawl after my firstborn daughter. This tutorial is great for people who are already familiar with crochet terms and stitches, but if you are a beginner, you may also join, of course, and maybe just look up how basic stitches are done because we're only going to use simple stitches on the shawl anyway. This design is an 8-row repeat pattern. We will keep on repeating 8 rows until we reach the size we want. So we will repeat rows 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. So there you go. We will keep on repeating rows 4 to 11. 8 rows in total until we reach the size we want for our shawl. So that's rows 4 to 11. This is also rows 4 to 11. So you just keep on repeating those 8 rows. I used a fingering weight yarn for this and a 3.75mm crochet hook. You may use other yarn weights, of course, but I do recommend super fine weight yarns. For the border, I did some fringes. These are just loops of 15 chains. Yes, very simple. I did my border after a repeat of row 5, but you may do the border after a different row. Okay, I only did mine after row 5 because I based it on the yarn I have left. You may do your border maybe after a repeat of row 4 or row 8, row 9, or row 11. So yes, it's up to you. Again, this is after a repeat of row 5, which I only based on what's left on my yarn cake before I did the border. I didn't think my yarn could make it up to row 8 or 9 or 11, which was actually a good call because after the border I only have a tiny ball of yarn left. So if you're interested to give this shawl a try, please keep on watching, and if you have questions, don't hesitate to comment down below. For this project, of course, we will need our yarn. I'm using this yarn from Ashley's Crochet. It's called Amethyst. This is a fine cotton yarn, fingering weight. Recommended hook size 2.5 to 4 millimeters. And I will be starting from the outer part, okay, because I want my shawl, of course, from top to bottom, I want it light to dark. Okay, the color should be from light to dark instead of dark to light. And I will be using this hook. This is a 3.75mm crochet hook, and of course later we'll be using scissors, and for weaving ends we will be using a needle. To begin, let's leave a tail long enough to weave it in later, and let's make a magic ring. Okay, and if you have a different way of making a ring, like chaining 4, that's okay too. We just need to make a ring to start, and let's start row 1. Okay, so we will chain 3, and that will serve as a double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, and then make 3 double crochets into the ring. 1, 2, 3. So including this chain 3, we have now 4 double crochets into the ring. So chain 2 and make 4 more double crochets into the ring. 2, 3, and 4. Okay, and now pull the tail to close the ring. And that is row 1. Okay, and this chain 2 here is the tip of the triangle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 stitches, not including the chain 2 right here, for row 1. So 8 stitches for row 1. So for row 2, turn your work. Okay, and on this first stitch right there, okay, we will make 3 double crochet. So if you want to start your double crochet by chaining 3, that's fine, but I am doing a standing double crochet. Okay, so there, so that's 1 double crochet, and then 2 and 3, and now we have 3 double crochets into the first stitch. Up next, we will be doing 1 double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. So there, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and into the chain 2 space, we will be doing 2 double crochets. 1, 2, and chain 2. Okay, so 1, 2, and then 2 more double crochets into the chain 2 space. Alright, and up next we will be doing 1 double crochet again into each of the next 3 stitches. So double crochet, double crochet, and 3 double crochet there, and into the last stitch. Okay, that's actually the first double crochet we did, which is actually the 3 chains that serves as a double crochet. So we will be making 3 double crochets into that same stitch. Okay, so 3 double crochets in the last stitch. 1, 2, and 3. So there you go, that's the end of row 2. Okay, so we should have 16 stitches on row 2, not including the 2 chains right there on the tip. So to check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The other side, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so 16 stitches on row 2. Okay, so that's because we did an increase right here. So on the first stitch we did 3 double crochets. That means we did an increase of 2, and another 2 here, and another 2 here, and another 2 at the end. So 8 stitches increase for row 2. Okay, and that will be consistent for all the rows going forward. That is how it's going to be for all the rows that we will be making. Okay, there will be an increase of 8 stitches for every row. So row 1 we have 8 stitches in total, row 2 16, then on row 3 there should be 24 stitches, and so on. So if you want to count your stitches on every row, if you want to check if you're making a mistake, just multiply the row number by 8. So if you're on row 5, 5 times 8 is 40. So you should have 40 stitches on row 5, not including the 2 chains on the tip. Alright, row 3, turn your work. and once again 3 double crochets into the first stitch. Okay, so again, if you want to just chain 3 as your double crochet, you may. Okay, so I did a standing double crochet and another double crochet and another one. Okay, so 3 double crochets into the first stitch, and this is what is going to be every time we begin our row. Okay, so 1 double crochet in each of the next 7 stitches. So 1, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and on the 2 chain space, 2 double crochets. Okay, 2, and then chain 2 and 2 more double crochets. And we will do those stitches every time: 2 double crochets, 2 chains, and 2 double crochets into those 2 chain space on the peak of the triangle in every row. Next, 1 double crochet in each of the following 7 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, and in the last stitch, 3 double crochets. So just like in the beginning of each row, 3 double crochets in the end of each row. So every row we will be doing 3 double crochets into the last stitch. Okay, so that's the end of row 3. Row 4, turn your work and 3 double crochets into the first stitch as usual. And row 4 is actually the start of our repeat. Remember, we will be repeating rows 4 to 11. Okay, so 3 double crochets into the first stitch, and up next just 1 double crochet into each of the following stitches. Okay, and let's continue doing that: 1 double crochet in each stitch, and I will meet you when we reach the tip of the triangle, the 2 chain space. And we are almost at the tip of the triangle now. Okay, there you go. So into the 2 chain space, make 2 double crochets. Okay, and then chain 2, 1, 2, and then 2 more double crochets. So 1, okay, and 2. Next, make 1 double crochet into each of the following stitches except for the last stitch. Okay, so just continue making 1 double crochet into each stitch, and I'll see you at the end of the row. So we have 2 stitches remaining here, so double crochet into that second to the last stitch, and here the last stitch, make 3 double crochets into that last stitch. Okay, so 1, 2, and 3 double crochets. And that is the end of row 4. So for row 5, turn your work and make 3 double crochets into the first stitch. 1, 2, and 3. And for the next stitch we will be doing front post double crochet, and up to that last stitch before the 2 chain space. Okay, those are all going to be front post double crochet. Okay, so here front post double crochet, front post double crochet. So just continue making 1 front post double crochet into each of the following stitches until you reach the last stitch before the 2 chain space at the tip of the triangle, and I will meet you there. And we are here at the last stitch on that side of the triangle, so that's our last front post double crochet on that side. And on the 2 chain space, our usual stitches, 2 double crochets, 2 chains, 1, 2, and 2 more double crochets. And next we will be making 1 front post double crochet around each of these following stitches, except for the last stitch. Okay, so front post double crochet like that, same thing we did on the other side of the triangle. So continue doing that, and I'll meet you at the end of the row. And we are making our front post double crochet around the second to the last stitch there, and on the last stitch, as always, 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, and that is the end of row 5. It should look like that by now. And if you want to check your stitches, there should be 40 stitches, not including the 2 chain space on the tip of the triangle. All right, turn your work and we will begin row 6. Okay, so 3 double crochets into the first stitch. So 1 double crochet, 2, and 3. So we are actually supposed to make a double crochet there, but we will chain 3 instead. So 1, 2, and 3, and slip stitch into that second stitch. Okay, the next stitch after the first. Okay, so there. Alright, so we actually did that to get to that height, okay, because it's in preparation for the next step. So the chain 3 right there serves as a double crochet. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are 4 double crochets already on this row. Okay, and you will see why we did that instead of a double crochet. So next, chain 10, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we need to slip stitch into the next stitch. Okay, so there. So we will continue doing that, okay, making loops of 10 chains. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, and slip stitch into the next. Okay, so make sure that you're doing your slip stitch into the next stitch, not on the stitch where you start the when you started the chain. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10. Okay, so again, slip stitch into the next stitch. Then continue making chains of 10 and slip stitching into the next stitch. Okay, just continue making loops of 10 chains until you reach the third to the last stitch before the 2 chain space on the peak of the triangle, and I will meet you there. And this will be my last 10 chain loop. Okay, so there, and we will slip stitch into that stitch right there, the third one before the 2 chain space. Okay, so there should be 2 stitches right there. Those are 2 double crochets remaining. Okay, and we will be making double crochets into those stitches later. Okay, but let's check our count first. So we need to have multiples of 4 for these fringes right here, for these loops. Okay, so because we will group them into 4 later. So let's count. Okay, we have the 3 chains right there as a double crochet, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay, so we have the correct count. We have 16 fringes or loops that we need later. Remember, we need to group them into 4. Okay, so there are going to be 4 groups of 4 loops that we will be needing for the next row. Okay, so for now, let's go back to this stitch right there. Okay, so I told you we will be making double crochets into those 2 remaining stitches. Okay, so we need to get to the height of a double crochet because right now we're at the bottom. So 1, 2, and that chain of 2 doesn't count as a stitch. Okay, so we only did that to reach to the height of a double crochet because we're going to do this. So double crochet into the next stitch and another double crochet into the last one before the chain 2 space. Okay, so again, that chain 2 doesn't count as stitch. Don't confuse it with the first one we did, the 3 chains at the beginning of the row. Okay, so 1, 2, so we're doing our usual 2 double crochets, 2 chains, and 2 more double crochets into that 2 chain space. Okay, and next we are going to make a double crochet. Okay, so double crochet into that stitch and double crochet into the next. Okay, so after that we will be chaining 2 again to reach to that level right there. Okay, so again, this is in preparation for the next step because we will be making again chains of 10s and doing a slip stitch into the next stitch. So right there, chain 2 and slip stitch on that stitch, but that 2 chains again, that chain of 2 doesn't count as a stitch. Okay, again, don't get it confused with the 3 chains we did earlier. Okay, so there we're making another loop of 10 chains, slip stitch into the next stitch, and that's our first 10 chain loop on this side of the triangle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, another one, and slip stitch into the next stitch there. Alright, so continue working on your 10 chains and slip stitching into the next stitch. Okay, continue making loops of 10 chains, and I'll meet you here. Okay, so your last 10 chain and slip stitch should be on the second to the last stitch right there. Okay, so I will see you there. So I'm on my third to the last stitch right now, so I'm going to make the last loop of 10 chains. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then slip stitch into the next stitch, which is the second to the last stitch of the row. Alright, and that is our last loop. And to check your loops, again, your count should be in multiples of 4. Okay, so in this particular row it's 16, but of course in the next repetitions they're going to be different. So if you want, you can count by 4. Okay, so let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. There you go. And we have the correct count. Let's go back to our remaining stitches right here. So we are now on the second to the last stitch. We just did a slip stitch on that one, and we now have to make 3 chains. Okay, 1, 2, 3, and that 3 chains, okay, that chain of 3 will count as a double crochet. So on the last stitch, 3 double crochets, of course. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so there you go. So once again, that chain of 3 serves as a double crochet. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets at the end of the row. So this is how it's going to look like after row 6. So those loops look like fringes. And now it's time for row 7. So turn your work, okay, and 3 double crochets into the first stitch. So 1, 2, 3. Alright, and 1 double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. Double crochet, double crochet, and this is the 3 chains that we did earlier, so that counts as a double crochet. So we are going to do a double crochet on top of that chain 3. So there, double crochet. Okay, so so far you should have 6 double crochets. Alright, so this is a bit tricky. We are going to imitate a broomstick lace stitch. Okay, so we're going to try and get that effect. So if you're familiar with that, you probably know what's going to happen next. Anyway, so we will insert our hook into that loop. Okay, so in that loop, let's say that's the right side and left side. Okay, so we will make sure that the right side of the loop goes in front of the hook. Okay, so like that. Okay, so don't get it twisted. So again, that side should go in front of the hook. Okay, so that's 3 and that's 4. So we will insert our hook into 4 loops. Okay, so we now have 4 in there. Okay, so you may keep the loops open with your finger, okay, because we will be doing single crochets into those 4 loops. So there, so okay, 1 single crochet. Okay, so 1, and we're going to add 3 more single crochets. Okay, so 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so 4 single crochets into those 4 loops, from the previous row. Okay, so that's actually the wrong side of the shawl. Okay, but it has that effect right there, and on the right side of the shawl there, it has the same look. Okay, so like that. So we'll keep doing that into the other loops. Okay, so remember, insert your hook into the loop and make sure that this side goes in front like that. So 1 and there, 2, and remember, don't get it twisted. Okay, if you do it like that or the other way, it will have a different look. Okay, so not like that. So let's make sure we're doing it right. So there's a third loop and 4. Okay, so yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, just making sure, and 1 single crochet. So you can keep those loops open, okay, with your finger. Okay, help it like that, keep it open so it would be easy to do single crochet. So 2, 3 and 4 there. So you can try and adjust those loops if you want. So again, that's the front of the shawl. Okay, and it has the same look. Okay, let's continue. So 1, 2, 3, 4 loops into the hook. Okay, keep it open with your finger, and now single crochets. 1, 2, 3, 4 single crochets into the 4 loops. I'm so sorry about that, the neighbor's dog was so noisy. Anyway, we are at our last set of 4 loops on this side of the triangle. So there, 2, 3 and 4 loops. Okay, and now single crochets into the loops. So 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so we're done with our sets of 4 loops. Okay, so you can adjust those loops. Okay, so I think they look okay, and now let's move on to the next stitches that we have. And remember, we have a chain of 2 right there. Okay, and again, that doesn't count as a stitch, so we will move on to the next one. Skip the chain 2. Okay, so double crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. So there, 1 double crochet. Okay, double crochet into the next, double crochet and double crochet. Okay, and as always, 2 double crochets and 2 chains and 2 more double crochets into that chain 2 space. Okay, so 2 more double crochets, and next 1 double crochet into each of the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so you can see the chain 2 again after that one, so skip that chain of 2. okay, because that doesn't count as a stitch. And let's go ahead and insert our hook into those loops. Okay, so we'll have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, again, it's always a set of 4. Okay, and single crochets. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so continue doing that, making a group of 4 and doing 4 single crochets into those 4 loops until you reach the last group, and I will meet you there. And this is our last set of 4 loops there, so 4 loops, and then single crochets, 4 single crochets into those 4 loops. Okay, so 2, 3, okay, and 4. And let's check out the other side. I think it looks good as well there. Next, 1 double crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. So we will make a double crochet on top of this chain of 3, because remember that counts as a double crochet. Okay, and then 2, and then on the next double crochet as well. Okay, and of course 3 double crochets into the last stitch. One, 2, and 3. Okay, so there should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 double crochets at the end of the row. Okay, and that is the end of row 7. Alright, so turn your work and let's begin row 8. Okay, so 3 double crochets into the first stitch. 1, 2, and 3. Next, 1 double crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and on the next one, okay, we will be doing back loop only double crochet. So right there you have 2 loops right there, but we're not going to go through the front one. Okay, only into the back loop. Okay, so there, like that. So double crochet into the back loop only. Okay, so there, back loop only. So we are actually doing that to emphasize the single crochet stitches from the previous row. So I want to get that look right there with the front loops clearly showing right there. And we will continue making 1 back loop only double crochet into each of the next single crochet stitches from the previous row, so up to that single crochet right there. Okay, and I will meet you there. And we are on the last single crochet from the previous row on this side of the triangle, and we will make our back loop only double crochet there. And next, 1 double crochet into each of the next 6 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, and again on the 2 chain space, 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. After that, 1 double crochet into each of the next 6 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And on the next stitch, back loop only double crochet, and continue doing 1 back loop only double crochet into each of the next single crochet stitches from the previous row. Okay, and all the way there, and I will meet you there. Okay, and we are on our last single crochet stitch from the previous row, and we will make our back loop only double crochet into that stitch. Okay, and up next, 1 double crochet into each of the next 5 stitches. So 1 double crochet, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, and of course into the last stitch, 3 double crochets. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and that's the end of our row 8. And if you want to count your stitches, there should be 64 stitches after row 8. Alright, let's start row 9. Turn your work, and the 3 double crochets into the first stitch. Okay, so 1 double crochet, 2, and 3 double crochets, and we will be making 1 single crochet into each of the next stitches up to that last one there before the 2 chain space. Okay, so 1 single crochet in each stitch. So single crochet, single crochet. So okay, so just please continue making single crochet until you reach this last one right here before the 2 chain space, and I will see you there. Okay, so we are on the last stitch before the 2 chain space. So let's make a single crochet right there, single crochet, and next 2 double crochets and 2 chains and 2 more double crochets into that 2 chain space. Okay, and next 1 single crochet into each of the next stitches. Okay, so 1 single crochet into each stitch up to the second to the last stitch. Okay, so 1 single crochet in all the stitches, remaining stitches, except for the last stitch. Okay, so continue making single crochets and I'll meet you here. And I'm on the second to the last stitch of the row. Let's make a single crochet there, and on the last stitch 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3 double crochets. And that is the end of row 9. And now let's move on to row 10. Right, turn your work. Okay, and 3 double crochets into the first stitch as always. Okay, so 1 double crochet, 2, and then 3 double crochets. Okay, and 1 double crochet into the next stitch. Okay, so now we have 1, 2, 3, 4 double crochets in the beginning of the row. And next we are going to do a treble crochet, but we are not going to do it into the next stitch. We are doing it into the 4th stitch. So next stitch is 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, treble crochet there. That's our treble crochet, and chain 2. Okay, and another treble crochet, but again not on the next stitch. We're going to go back to the first stitch right there. I mean, it's kind of like a group of 4 stitches. Okay, so remember we counted 1, 2, 3, 4, and then let's put it on the stitch number 1. Okay, treble crochet there. Okay, so it is an X. Okay, so treble crochet again. So count 1, 2, 3, 4. So do it into the first, I mean to the 4th stitch. Okay, treble, and then chain 2, treble crochet again, and going back, skip those 2 stitches. Okay, and then treble crochet into stitch number 1. Okay, when we counted 4 stitches earlier. Okay, I hope this is clear. I'm sorry I'm rambling, but please observe what I'm doing. Okay, so treble crochet again. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Do the treble crochet into the 4th, chain 2, treble crochet again, and skip 1, 2, right there is it, 1, 2, and go back to the first count and do the treble crochet. Okay, it's fairly easy, but I hope I'm making it clear. Anyway, so it should look like that. Okay, so that's what we have. So it's kind of like a group of 4 stitches, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's an X inside a group of 4 stitches. Okay, so we have our first treble crochet. That's our first stitch, and the chain 2 is 2nd and 3rd stitches, and then the next treble crochet into the first stitch is the 4th stitch. Okay, so I hope it's clear. I'm so sorry. If you have questions, please leave your comment down below. Okay, so let's do it one more time. Okay, so treble crochet, count 1, 2, 3, 4, treble crochet into the 4th stitch that we counted, chain 2, treble crochet, skip those 2 stitches going back. Okay, and then treble crochet into the first. Okay, and so one more time, treble crochet, 1 2 3 4, treble crochet into that fourth stitch, chain 2, treble crochet, going back, skip those 2 stitches, and treble crochet into stitch number 1. Okay, so that's it. So your stitches should look like that. Please continue following those steps along the next stitches up to this part right here, and after your last letter X there should be 2 more remaining stitches before the 2 chain space. Okay, see you there. Okay, and we have 6 more stitches remaining here. Okay, and this is going to be the last set of stitches for our letter X. Okay, so 1 2 3 4, treble crochet into that stitch number 4, chain 2, treble crochet. Okay, going back, skip those 2 stitches, treble crochet into stitch number 1. Okay, and that will be our last letter X on the side of the triangle. So double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. Okay, oopsie, and into the 2 chain space, 2 double crochets, 2 chains, and 2 more double crochets. Okay, and next 1 double crochet into each of the next 2 stitches. Okay, so 1 and 2. Okay, so there you go. And next we will be starting again making the X stitch. Okay, so we will be starting our set of 4 stitches to form the letter X. 1 2 3 4. Okay, treble crochet into that 4th stitch, chain 2, treble crochet, going back, so skip 2 and go back to stitch number 1. Okay, so one more time, treble crochet, 1 2 3 4, treble crochet on that, chain 2, treble crochet, going back, skip 1 2 and treble crochet into stitch number 1. Please continue following those steps along these stitches right there, and when you reach this part, okay, when you formed your last X, there should still be 2 more stitches remaining there. Okay, so I'll meet you there. So we are here now to make the last X. So treble crochet, 1 2 3 4, treble crochet into that 4th stitch. Okay, chain 2, treble crochet, going back, skip 1 2 and treble crochet into the 1st stitch. Okay, so that's the last letter X stitch. So next, double crochet into the next stitch, which is the 2nd to the last stitch. Okay, so into the last stitch, as always, 3 double crochets. So, there, and 3. Okay, and there should be 4 double crochets right there, 1 2 3 4. Okay, at the end of the row, and there you go. That is the end of row 10. Okay, row 11, turn your work, and 3 double crochets into the 1st stitch as usual. Okay, and this is the last row for our 8 row repeat pattern. Okay, row 11. Okay, so there, 3 double crochets, and into the next stitches we will be doing 1 single crochet in each of the following stitches. Okay, but let's do the next 3 stitches first. Okay, so a single crochet on that stitch, another single crochet in the next stitch, and single crochet right there. Okay, so let's see, 1, 2, 3. Okay, so 3 double crochets and 3 single crochets in the beginning of the row already. Okay, so up next still single crochet, but let's pay a little more attention. So a single crochet into the treble crochet and 2 single crochets into the 2 chain space. Okay, so 1, 2, and single crochet into the treble crochet. Okay, so right there, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so once again, single crochet into the first treble, 2 single crochets into the 2 chain space, and 1 single crochet into the treble crochet. Okay, so single crochet into the treble crochet, 2 single crochets into the 2 chain space, and 1 more single crochet into the treble crochet. So it's like that. It's like you're doing again sets of 4 stitches. Okay, so please continue making single crochets that way into these following stitches. Again, 1 single crochet into the treble crochet stitch, 2 single crochets into the 2 chain space, and 1 single crochet into the treble stitch. Keep doing that up to the last treble crochet from the previous row, and I'll meet you there. And we're done with our single crochet on the last treble crochet from the previous row on this side of the triangle. Next, 1 single crochet into each of the next 4 stitches, 3 and 4. Okay, and into the 2 chain space, 2 double crochets, chain 2, and 2 more double crochets. Okay, and single crochet into the next 4 stitches. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, and 4 single crochets. Okay, and up next, like we did on the other side of the triangle, 1 single crochet into the treble crochet, 2 single crochets into the 2 chain space, and 1 more single crochet into the next treble crochet. Okay, so again, 1 single crochet on the treble, 2 on the 2 chain space, and 1 into the treble crochet. Alright, so just continue following those steps again up to the last treble crochet from the previous row. Okay, there. And we are done with our single crochet on the last treble crochet from the previous row. Next, 1 single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay, sorry. Oh, there. And into the last stitch, 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And that is the end of row 11. Okay, and row 11 is also the last row for our 8 row repeat pattern. So after this, you will just be repeating rows 4 to 11 until you reach the size of the shawl that you want. Okay, so row 12 will be a repeat of row 4, row 13 will be a repeat of row 5, and so on and so forth. Alright, so you may keep on working to make your shawl bigger, and I will see you when you are ready for the border. For the border, I'm doing mine after a repeat of row 5. But as I have mentioned in the intro, you may do your border after a different row. You may try after row 4, 8, 9, or 11. Okay, I am just doing mine after row 5 because I have this tiny ball of yarn left, which I think is just enough right here, just enough for the border after this row that I have. Okay, so anyway, let's start with the border. And for the border, turn your work and we'll start doing our loops. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, and then slip stitch into the same stitch. Okay, the first stitch. Okay, again chain 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then slip stitch into the next stitch. Okay, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, and again slip stitch into the next stitch. Okay, so just keep repeating those steps. So we are just making loops of 15 chains. Okay, so we will continue doing that. Okay, so we will keep on repeating that into every stitch along right there. Okay, until we reach the tip of the triangle, the 2 chain space right here. Okay, so again continue making loops of 15 chains and I will see you there. And we have one more double crochet here before the 2 chain space. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Slip stitch into the double crochet. Okay, that's the last stitch before the 2 chain space. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, and slip stitch into the 2 chain space like that, and then one more time chain 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, sorry, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, and slip stitch into the 2 chain space again right there, and chain 15 one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And slip stitch into the 2 chain space. Okay, sorry. Alright, chain 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And once again slip stitch into the 2 chain space. Okay, and then chain 15 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now we are going to slip stitch into the next stitch, which is the double crochet after the 2 chain space. So we are now done making loops into the 2 chain space. So it's like we have 3 loops there in the tip of the triangle. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, and then slip stitch into the next stitch. Okay, so chain 15 again. Okay, and of course after that slip stitch into the next stitch. Okay, so again, just continue doing that. Continue making loops of 15 chains until you reach the end of the row. And I will meet you there. Oh, and by the way, this is the tip of our triangle. Okay, one last stitch remaining. Chain 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and slip stitch into the last stitch of the row. Okay, so slip stitch into that last stitch. Okay, and then chain 15 again, one last time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, and slip stitch into that same stitch. Okay, slip stitch into the last stitch. Okay, and I'm done with the fringes, with the loops. Okay, and then chain 1 and pull your yarn. Okay, so again, leave a tail long enough to weave in. And I'm just going to check on my border on the fringes if I missed anything before cutting my yarn. Okay, so that's how your border would look like. Okay, and we are ready to cut our yarn. Of course, we have our scissors right there, and let's leave a tail. Okay, and I will pull the yarn out, okay, from that last stitch I did, okay, to secure the end. And I'm going to weave in the yarn using this needle into the stitches in the shawl. So I'm just going to fast forward this part right here, so it's just me, okay, weaving in the tail, okay, going through the same stitches back and forth, okay, 3 or more times. Okay, so okay, I'm going through there. Okay, so of course you can weave in your ends any way you want, but this is how I do mine. Okay, I will get my yarn through those same stitches 2 more times. Okay, and I will keep working on that, and I will be back. And I will do the same thing to this tail right here at the start of the project. And we are done. So if you have questions or clarifications, don't hesitate to leave a comment down below, and I will do my best to respond. So once again, thank you so much for watching, and please like this video and subscribe. Bye!
Like if you like this video, Subscribe if you love it. Share if you care. Thank you for watching. Bye!